Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another 10-minute investment eye test. This is Sasha with Arcanum Ventures. I'm here with my good friend and colleague Carmelo, and today we are diving into Bitsmiley. Bitsmiley is a stablecoin protocol built on the Bitcoin ecosystem and launching their stablecoin, I believe, known as BitUSD. Very original. Carmelo, how you doing, man?
Doing well. Looking forward to seeing what this is all about. I think you and I discussed offline that we haven't seen a whole lot of Bitcoin flavored projects since the beginning of the year. That was all anybody was investing in, and before the tap to earn craze. So it was all Bitcoin layer 2 and orange ecosystem. And I remember hearing about this one a long time ago, but I think they pivoted. I don't know much about what they're doing right now. I had no idea that anybody was building a Bitcoin flavored stablecoin or whatever you want to call it. So I'm curious to learn more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes sense. I guess all these major networks have like a prominent stablecoin asset. And if Bitcoin is going to evolve into a large ecosystem with many different dApps on their L2s and roll-up solutions, then a stablecoin makes sense. I think I know a little bit about this one because we covered it in our 3 token launch videos happening earlier this week, and I don't know a whole lot about what kind of stablecoin it is, but from what I read and understand, it sounds like it might be a semi-algorithmic stablecoin, which can be a huge red flag, as everyone in this industry knows by now. So I guess we're going to find out.
Terra 2.0?
So we'll see. I hope not, right? Many people were hurt. Many people were injured. But without further ado, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and start the clock. And everyone, I'm sure everyone's familiar by now. We take 10 short minutes to dive into a project that is launching a token and understand if this is something that we would invest in or not. So make sure you stick around to the end for the verdicts. And Bitsmiley is launching their own token, so we're going to see what it does. Let's start the clock. Right? Meow. Okay. 10 minutes on the books. Bitsmiley, IEO. Interesting.
So launching on Gate, IO startup. We know by now that those could go either way. I think like once in a while they'll get a massive winner, but most of the time they're duds. And I haven't, like I said, I haven't heard so much about Bitcoin layer 2s or anything like that recently launching. But yeah, it looks like they have a huge cap table. So maybe this is all remnant investments from the beginning of the year or even last year. And maybe they forgot about it. And now they're like, oh, this is launching tomorrow or today or whenever. So yeah, maybe this reignites another wave of Bitcoin. That and the price of Bitcoin going up, maybe it ignites like a new wave, second wave.
It's a good point. Maybe they were just waiting on the back burner for the price of Bitcoin to touch all-time highs again. But this is an impressive cap table. There's a lot of investors in this cap table, and many VCs and more veteran investors might tell you, you don't want a cap table with this many investors on it. It's difficult to manage, difficult expectations, too many opinions being thrown around, and a lot of expectations. But it looks like they raised $10 million according to CryptoRank. And they've got the Smile token. And the FDV of the Smile token at launch is $80 million. So how do you feel about that? It's a token. It's not the stable coin, I'm assuming, because it's not called BitUSD. But it's an $80 million token. I guess we really got to find out what it does, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speculate on if that's overvalued or not, based off of the little information I have about the token and the stablecoin, which I didn't even know it existed. But I think, like I said, this project is a little bit late to launch. It kind of came across my radar last year or the beginning of this year. So you and I have seen the valuations come significantly down for most projects since then. So maybe this is like still the remnants of an older token economic launch design because things have changed this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to point out I haven't heard of People's Alliance Launchpad before. I love this name, People's Alliance.
Very equitable.
So, yeah, super equitable. Well, we're going to dive into the website And we've got the website here, looking very retro, man.
Yeah, like a Space Jam website.
It's the only thing you know. Whew, some awful music. I don't know if you guys can hear the music. They've got an airdrop. All right. I haven't seen.
Okay, so this is a choice. They have an app that I assume we're not going to try to connect with because we don't know what it does, which is always kind of funny, right? Like that's the first thing that slaps you in the face when you visit a new website. Like, how are you supposed to invite people to connect to something they don't understand yet? So I think that's kind of funny. Never thought about that actually.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because there's so much taboo around connecting your wallet to different
Yeah.
things. There's many different protocols have been used as like Trojan horses to scam people, and so it's crazy that like there we don't have anything better than like you just have to take a chance. And let's be honest, like from this retro design, like it not giving me like institutional trustworthiness much
Yeah.
yet. Um, but you're right. This is a choice, right? Like this is like a design aesthetic.
Yeah, staking machine is here, so I don't know what that means. We are the OG of Bitcoin stablecoin based on over collateralization, building its peripheral Fintegra products at the same time. Okay.
Not sure what Fintegra is, but I see over collateralization, which is good. You want to see that when it comes to a stable coin. So maybe I was wrong about the semi algorithmic structure, but again, they've got their cap table up here. Some articles. You don't really see articles being launched by like new stablecoin companies, which is interesting. But that's it. Yeah. So I guess we're gonna dive into the white paper, right? One thing that I wanted to do, Mello, is maybe trying to dive a little bit deeper into the team and marketing, which is something that we don't usually have time for. But I do see there's
Yeah.
an actual GitHub white paper. Interesting. Not a common choice.
So yeah, this looks like right on track, like December last year. So kind of falls in line with what we were talking about. I This has got to be updated though, because I swear they were doing something different. I didn't see any mention of stablecoin when I first saw this, so maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure.
Yeah, interesting. But they are saying it's generated from over collateralized assets and softly pegged to the U.S. dollar. Softly pegged. And so what our goal is to understand how does the Smile token fit into this. And also, what's the risk to the Smile token as an investment if it's tied to BitUSD? And our users or our viewers should understand that if you have a stable coin that's over collateralized, sounds good, but what is it collateralized by? Like, wasn't FTX over collateralized by their own token?
I have no idea. I don't think that's what happened to them, but uh, yeah, it depends too because you can use over collateralization incorrectly. Like you can collateralize something with a very volatile, unstable asset, and it can drop 80% in value overnight, like Bitcoin kind of did. Not overnight, but Bitcoin's not the best thing to collateralize a stable coin, and that's why I usually have a very diverse portfolio of assets backing these stable coins, like baskets of real estate or T bills or whatever, anything with financial value. You don't want to just peg it to one thing and one thing only.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what happened with a lot of different investment organizations and even protocols we've seen that collateralize assets with Bitcoin having been so volatile over the past few years. I am seeing so there's an equation here on liquidation price, quantity of collateral, etc. And so this is what kind of gave me like algorithmic stablecoin vibes. And if there is some sort of like algorithmically pegging mechanism, then there's a risk, right? Because the only reason you would want to do that is because you don't have the one-to-one backing in value for a stable coin like PayPal USD or Tether supposedly or Circle.
Yeah, it's interesting too. It says they're using like a sort of Dutch auction approach to liquidation, like to find a sort of homeostasis for the price, the liquidation price, and the price of the asset and the collateral behind it. So that's, I mean, I don't think we have nearly enough time to dive fully into this, but uh, the system they're using sounds pretty interesting from the surface level.
Yeah, it does sound interesting. I don't see anything about the Smile token still, but I did find in the meantime a Medium article they published around the Smile token, and so I guess this is like their tokenomics and use cases that they actually publish on Medium, which is a strange choice. We've seen it done before,
Even
but
funnier that it says it's launching on Ethereum, which is the most you know mature blockchain, but this is very clearly centered on Bitcoin as well. So it's a maybe an effort to marry those two ecosystems. But they're launching a government's token on Ethereum blockchain, which kind of probably what you and I were both guessing. This is going to help decentralize the protocol and let the people that use it run it, but it is a little bit risky to offer that kind of asset with like very limited utility aside from governance. So it looks like they have fee discounts, they have priority liquidation rights, which is kind of interesting. A little bit degen, but interesting nonetheless.
mm,
So
yeah, this is
yeah, it
very
makes.
strange.
I mean, I don't see any red flags, and I see a lot that I would like. I'm curious to unpack more. So that's good for them.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same actually. I do want to point out that I am confused because this is Bitsmiley, BitUSD, and from the information available on different platforms, talks about how they're building a stable coin for the Bitcoin ecosystem. This was published 4 days ago, apparently, and it says the token standard's ERC20. It's not even BRC20. So is it even a stablecoin for the Bitcoin ecosystem, or is it just a stablecoin that's backed by Bitcoin? You know,
I mean,
this is
it says it's
very
on
strange.
Ethereum, at least the Smile token. Maybe the BitUSD can exist on multiple chains or ecosystems. So, yeah, that is a kind of a strange question. Probably would be one of my first questions I would ask them if I spoke with them.
Yeah, and what is the driving factor? Okay, that's 10 minutes in the books. Man, there's a lot more I want to dive into on this. But yeah, I think we did see like a decent amount here on the token utility, and I think we've got a pretty decent understanding of it. We're going to dive into our verdicts, but before we do, want to remind everyone if you're enjoying this content, this I think this is the second stable coin we've ever done besides PayPal USD. But if you are enjoying, then make sure you tap that like button, give us a follow. We want to thank all of you guys for helping us reach over 1,000 YouTube followers over the past week. It's been a hell of a journey. And stick around because we've got some more content coming up soon. And now, verdicts. Carmelo, what do you think about Bitsmiley?
I mean, obviously, you know the format. We're not going to say, yeah, I would invest in this or, yeah, I wouldn't invest in this. But based off what I saw, I think it's definitely merits deeper researching and diligence. It's really cool just from a token economic standpoint. You and I are always trying to stay ahead of the trends and see what other economy designers are doing, what sort of novel innovations are happening, especially in DeFi when it gets a little bit more algorithmic, let's call it. So I'm curious because stable coins have always fascinated me, especially algorithmic stable coins, and I'm still wondering if there's a world in which they can work correctly and without falling apart or being at risk to fall apart. So this seems interesting. You collateralize, well, I can't say that word today, but you put your Bitcoin into a vault and you help back this stable coin essentially, and then the Smile token is its own thing. So you have to separate and unpackage. You know, you and I are not talking about investing in the stablecoin here. We're talking about investing in a governance token that gives you favorable fees and access and auction privileges, whatever that means. We didn't have enough time to uncover what these auctions are and what exactly they would be governing. It's good that they are decentralized because that kind of fits the ethos of Bitcoin and the Bitcoin ecosystem. So that's something we're usually interested in, decentralization. DeFi when it's actually DeFi and actually helps unbanked people and with remittance or whatever, what have you. So I think it's interesting. I would love to dive into it more. And like you said, I would love to see what the team looks like. I would love to see what the marketing looks like because just as a marketer, I know that this is maybe a little bit out of cycle. Like this was meant to launch when the cycle was hot for Bitcoin, and right now it's not. Maybe that comes back, maybe it doesn't. But I'm curious to see the effect of launching a project too late outside of when it was intending to launch. So, is the community still fired up about this and the entire Bitcoin ecosystem and anything building on Bitcoin layer twos? Are these big backers still psyched about this and excited to see this? And are they going to use it? Is this going to become a new stablecoin that we send investments? VCs will send as investments, or are you going to use to pay on other people's platforms? So I'm interested to see all these things and what their plan is for that, because it's kind of hard to compete with USDC, USDT, some of these bigger stablecoins that are more established and trusted. Like you said, it's not a very institutional feel on their website, which is an interesting choice. But maybe they're just trying to lean into the degen aspect and provide a viable decentralized stablecoin, which I'm all for. I think we need a decentralized stablecoin to kind of insulate ourselves from the centralization of stablecoins and the CBDCs that governments are threatening to unleash on us. So I like it in theory. I would like to dive into it. So I'll give it a thumbs up.
Nice. Well said. I think there's a lot to unpackage there, and I agree with pretty much all of it. I think, you know what, I'm going to give it one thumbs up as well. You're definitely right in saying the world of algorithmically stabilized coins is very interesting and something that I've always been very curious about as a token economist. As you know, we work on a lot of these token economies and we see some really cool structures and we've designed some very cool stuff. The pie in the sky goal is creating a perfect algorithmically collateralized pegged stablecoin that's under collateralized, right? How that works, that's yet to be discovered, and we all know that the stakes are very high. But I don't think that this might be a algorithmically pegged stablecoin. It might be a stablecoin that has some of these unique incentives that take advantage of upward market movements from the collateralization being Bitcoin. And that's interesting. I think it's something that's very cool. I think, it's something that I might consider investing in if I believe that a stablecoin on the Bitcoin ecosystem is of value. And it very well may be. I think Bitcoin is proving to be like this ultimate store of value, and it needs to be like a better infrastructure for transactions around Bitcoin on that network. And then just the sheer backers, I think you made a great point there. It will be very interesting to understand, what these investors have actually invested in. If it's simply this token, if it was a sort of like early stage hype cycle investment where just some exposure and some speculative asset is enough, or if this team has sold equity behind the company launching the stablecoin, much like how some other large stablecoins were started. So I'm definitely willing to dive deeper. We haven't seen anything around the team or the marketing, like you said. And the sheer fact that there's some interesting dynamics around the tokenomics piques my curiosity. I did see some language around redemptions, liquidation, etc. That kind of reminded me of like this, this certificate system that Iron Finance had, which was it's a very famous algorithmic stable coin that failed. But I'm curious to see like how are they kind of protecting the core stablecoin asset against risk caused by volatility in the Smile token, because if they don't have this kind of like mechanism to make the thing be pegged more reliably, then this can fall apart quite quickly. So yep, that's my 2 cents. And again, thanks everyone for watching. Best of luck to Bitsmiley on their upcoming Smile token launch. We wish you guys the best. Best of luck to all these investors and VCs that are backing it. And until next time, y'all, stay safe out there. Ciao.
Bye.